Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about a very important subject. I get asked the question all the time, what's my interpretation of the Second Amendment? What does it mean to me? And where is my line in the sand with regards to defending the Second Amendment? I hope to answer those questions in this video. First of all, let's start off talking about the Second Amendment and what it means to me. I'll be blunt. The Second Amendment is the very backbone of our republic. Without it, we are not free. And I firmly believe that. I also believe that the Second Amendment is America's first freedom. That means, as I said, without it, we are not free. But that does not mean I also don't believe in the First Amendment. The First Amendment comes first because we should have our voices heard. The Second Amendment, under the original intent of the Founding Fathers, was to assure that the people, the ultimate power of government, was in the hands of the people. If a government becomes tyrannical, it is the responsibility, it is the duty of the American people to replace that government, to remove it. And that's what they were hoping to empower us with by writing the Second Amendment. But I also believe that the Second Amendment was authored because this whole concept of first responders, let's talk about that for a second. Who designated them as first responders? At best, and I love the police, I have many police officers who are friends, I'm not attacking police. They have a thankless job. But let's be honest. The police show up to take reports, to tag the toes of the dead bodies. Very rarely can the police show up in time to actually stop a crime. It's just not physically possible. There's not enough of them. They can't be everywhere at once. They're not first responders. They're second responders. You, me, your neighbors, we're responsible for our own safety. We are the first responders. That's what the Second Amendment guarantees. It's not about hunting. It's not about sporting. Nowhere in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights does it talk about sporting purposes. The Constitution isn't about protecting your right to hunt. That's just a byproduct of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is about guaranteeing our freedom, our liberty, and our very lives. Without it, how can you defend yourself? That's why we have a Second Amendment. If a madman comes into my home, am I going to cower in the corner and dial 911 and pray that he doesn't kick in the bedroom door and kill me and my wife or my kids? No. I'm not going to wait for a first responder. I am the first responder. I am going to take care of business. I'm going to stop that threat as best as I can, and the best way to do that is with a firearm. And our Founding Fathers knew that. It also relates to checks and balances within the government. The ultimate power of government is in the hands of the people. The current government that we live under today isn't the government that our Founding Fathers envisioned. They didn't want an all-powerful federal government. They didn't plan for that. That's not what they envisioned. That's not what they tried to build. What we have today is a usurpation of individual and state rights by a federal government that's become all too powerful. Is it tyrannical? That's open for debate. But we still have a voice. We can still vote. We can still remove these people, as we did in 1994 when they passed the first assault weapons ban. We still have power. Okay, that's why the First Amendment is so important. Let's talk about the line in the sand. I don't want to go too far down this path. I just want to say that given the discussions on the internet as of late, there's a lot of people talking about armed resistance. I'm not disagreeing with the message of many of those people, okay? I disagree with the time and the place of that message. I don't think now is the time to be going in front of a camera and telling the world that you plan on doing bodily harm to other people. We haven't reached that point. We're not even close to that point. We still have a voice. We can still vote. There aren't jackbooted thugs kicking in doors taking guns. If that were to happen, that is my line in the sand. If it comes to confiscation, if it comes to them kicking in doors, sending people off to camps or putting them in prison for exercising their constitutional rights, that's my line in the sand. Until that point, we need to be responsible. We need to be responsible in how we portray ourselves as gun owners. We need to be responsible in how we portray ourselves to the public through media, through what I'm doing right now here on YouTube, to the letters we write to our congressmen. We have to show them that we're not some crazed, wild-eyed, Civil War hungry people. That is the last thing I want. The last thing you should want is a civil war. The thought of Americans turning on Americans is just absolutely repulsive to me, and that is the absolute last step, and nobody should be promoting that or calling for that right now, in my opinion. Now is not the time nor the place for that. We're nowhere near that. Nobody has proposed to this point an outright ban or confiscation of firearms. Right now we're in a political struggle, a struggle for our very existence, in my opinion. And we need to do everything we possibly can right now to better our chances of winning that political fight. If I went in front of the camera right now and started calling for civil war, that is not bettering our chances of winning this political fight. If anything, I'm creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. We need to remain calm, we need to remain politically active, and we need to let our representatives know that they will not be allowed to trample our rights. Don't make threats. Especially don't make threats that you won't keep. In 1994, I remember sitting around the gun counter long before the internet was as popular, as powerful as it is today, and listening to people talking about if the assault weapons ban of 1994 were to pass, all the things they were going to do. They were going to pack their bags and, head off to the hills, and they were going to fight and shoot jackbooted thugs and all this crazy talk. And what happened? The bill quietly passed into law. All the tough talk faded into past. It's never happened. I don't believe that, and I don't think that we should have went to war over that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that people tend to talk very tough and they don't really mean it. They're just saber rattling, and that's not productive either. Let's remain focused, people. Let's remain focused on the fight at hand. The fight that we have right now is with the pen. Write your congressmen, write your senators, write your state legislatures. In the news today, very, very positive news out of Wyoming. They're introducing a bill in Wyoming to basically nullify any federal law on firearms. I believe it's called the Firearm Owners Protection Act. We need to pressure our state legislatures to pass similar legislation in those states that are friendly to firearms, and there's a lot of them, a lot of them. We need to support Wyoming and its citizens in its fight. And what a lot of people don't realize is that the ultimate power of government is not only in the hands of people, but the states. Despite what the federal government has done in the last 100 years to usurp states' rights and individual rights, the sheriff can tell the federal authorities to go pound sand. You need to talk to your sheriff. Law enforcement, for the most part, I believe, is on our side. If the government, by some chance, and it's not even being discussed right now or being proposed, but if the government were to ban firearms and start confiscation, the sheriff and local law enforcement could say no. And in many states, I would expect them to. Who's going to enforce such a ban? They would have to call in UN troops, and I don't even think they could use the U.S. military. I was a member of the U.S. military in the Marine Corps. If I received an order to go kick in doors and confiscate firearms, I wouldn't show up for work that day. And I know a lot of fellow Marines wouldn't either. And I know that's the same in the Army, Air Force, and Navy. We're not there, folks. We need to stop talking about threats. We need to focus on the current fight because we need to empower ourselves to win this political fight, and we can win it. I believe that we have the numbers on our sides. This crazy gun buying frenzy that's going on right now is reflective of just how many Americans believe in their rights to own guns. That's why you can't find a rifle right now, find ammunition, or even a magazine. We don't just need those people in the gun shops cleaning off the shelves. We need those people writing their congressmen, their senators, and the president. With all of those voices, we can easily win this battle. And I hope it never comes to anything other than that. But again, it's a time to focus on the fight at hand, and the fight is with the pen, not with the sword. If you guys have any questions about anything I've said in this video, I do welcome you guys to come by the Facebook page. It's getting very, very busy right now. I'm getting hundreds of emails a day. I'm struggling to keep up with them. I hope to be able to get through them all at some point. Please bear with me. But I do try to read all of your comments, and I do encourage you to come by the Facebook page. I also post regular information there with regards to new news regarding legislation around firearms and things like that. And if you do want to reach me, that's the best way. I don't keep up with the comments here on the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll talk to you guys soon. And please, stay in the fight and stay focused.